So is it starting? All right, let's see. Let's see what we got here.
Right. Further call.
Yeah.
Further drink. Oh
Coffee, tea, doesn't matter as long as you brew it, it fits. Let's see here.
Just a good cup of Earl Grey.
Hi, NFL Guru. We go ahead and tweet this link out. See how many more we can get on here. Okay, as promised in the title, we're going to have a little bit of a caveat here. Yeah, we can still hear each other on the chat. Yeah, I'm here with Elegant Caligari so far. Sorry, we have a screwy mic. How about now, NFL? We got a bit of a lag, too. Oh, let me see. Okay, we have 4 people watching. All right, cool. We're just going to have to roll with it till we can get a better mic because one headset for 2 people isn't going to work. Welcome to the first episode of the Weekend Brew. Sorry about the crappy audio. We are here with the Elegant Caligari.
Hello there.
And we're going to start before we get to the Antifa stuff. What's been going on this morning with Charming Man getting hacked, the voice of rage, and harmful opinions disappearing from both Twitter and YouTube.
And mine.
And mine. Well,
all of his accounts disappeared all at once.
Yeah, they did. Like, he deleted. He said he's getting this. Harmful says he's getting the stuff back. But I haven't. I've emailed the voice of rage, and I haven't heard back from him. And he was supposed to be my other guest, and he just sort of disappeared from the internet this morning, which is disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I say in regards to because I'm still coming into this world of all these thinkers and things like that. I'm still trying to get the grasp of everyone and what's going on. I mean, I woke up this morning and I saw in the big group chat that all his accounts and everything got suspended. But again, for me, it's still trying to learn everything or what's going on, trying to follow everything. It's just crazy.
I know. When I first got started, I literally turned on all the notifications for YouTube and Twitter to go to my email. And then when I started getting bigger, I'm like, I got to cut these off. I'm getting way more notifications than I am emails.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the minute because I'm not big enough to even get like loads of notifications at the moment. So I'm pretty calm at the moment.
Yeah. As far as Antifa is concerned, they started their mess trying to disrupt the Women's March. I actually wound up tweeting with somebody who was there at the march, and they said that the actual Women's March on the Capitol was peaceful, and it was the Antifa people that were putting cars on fire, breaking windows and coffee shops and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And, I'm like, okay, so we have to take that into consideration. And then they completely went batshit crazy at Berkeley, the Antifa people did, to the point where the Berkeley police said, look, we can't keep anybody safe. We got to get Milo out of here.
Yeah.
We can't do his talk. And I mean, to me, it just seems that they're becoming the one thing they want to fight against. They're becoming fascists.
Exactly. And the thing is, though, it's not going to change. I mean, it's like on a few videos that I've said previously, it's just as stupid as it sounds, they are just butthurt. And they are going to keep going and just keep doing this destruction. And it's not going to benefit anyone. they're thinking they're proving a point, but they're not proving anything because they're not getting anything out of it. I mean, yeah, they stopped Milo's talk, but then what did Milo do? He went on the news. So where he was only talking to a couple of thousand people, he is now talking to millions.
Yeah, and I mean, they tried to ban his book, and now, you know, his book is becoming a bestseller because they don't learn from past events. When you ban something and try and keep something from being published, it becomes taboo, and more people get curious. So more and more people are going to buy the book to take a look at it and see what's in it and see what the fuss is.
Exactly. And the figures though now, it's even to the point where, and I've seen it on a couple of videos and things like that, where like CNN is saying that the Antifa group who was doing the riot at Berkeley was part of Milo Yiannopoulos' plan and part of the far right, and they were doing it just so that they can prove a point. It's like, that's ridiculous. Is that what they're stooping to now? They're going to say that it was all a big ruse by Milo Yiannopoulos.
Yeah, they're trying to push that narrative, and nobody believes it. Nobody believes it because those of us that have watched his videos, those of us that have heard him talk, we may not agree with all of his points, but one thing we know for sure is that he would not condone the actions. Would not say, well, it's all right if they do that, because, you know, to kind of set something up like that is completely ridiculous.
Exactly, but this is what they'll probably keep saying, and then of course Milo will go to another event and it'll probably happen again and again and again, and they'll just keep saying, well, it's clearly Milo's doing it. And it's just like, really, this is just getting beyond the joke.
Sorry, McGinnis, we're trying to get a mic. We're trying to use the one on the laptop so Ronin can talk too, so you're just going to have to bear with the crappy audio.
To be fair, I mean, your audio is not too bad. It's just it breaks out, but I think it's because I've got a headset on, so I'm hearing it a bit clearer, to be fair.
The only other thing we can do is...
Just plug it in.
Yeah, let's see. Hang on, I got the wrong one. Here we go. I gotta find it. How about now? Is this any better?
Yeah, I think that's a lot better. It's a lot clearer and crisper, and it's got not as much echo.
Chairview, try taking the S out of the link and see if it works. I don't know why it didn't.
So have you guys ordered Milo's book yet? Because I think in the UK you still have to pre-order it. I mean, let me have a check. I'm really considering pre-ordering his book. In the book.
Yeah, it makes you curious as to what on earth is on that in the book. And it's like, I've seen some of his videos and stuff. Yes, he's controversial. Yes, as I like to say, he's brutally honest. He doesn't care what he says. He talks without a filter. And there's some things that I agree with him on, and there are some things that I don't agree with him on.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just, you have to take it with, you know, for what it is. And just, I like him because he has, as, you know, the Yiddish people would say,
yeah.
You know, he has the bravery to talk to groups. And I damned you a new one, Chair. He has the courage to talk to the groups and to talk to them on his terms. And I mean, the conservative students of Berkeley raised money to get him on that campus. And it would not make sense for him to have arranged that riot to happen, because that's counterproductive to what he's trying to do.
Exactly. But the thing is with it, I just think it's so ironic that, you know, we talk about freedom of speech and you got the left who's all, you know, they're just trying to shut this down all the time. And, you know, it is basically, you know, imposing on freedom of speech. They basically didn't want Milo to talk, so they rioted and caused damage and hurt people. And that's the saddest part, is they've hurt people because of this.
Yes.
And the thing is, though, and then you got these celebrities who are cheering them on. And, you know, it's you know, it was the right thing to do. No, it's not. Hurting someone is never the right thing to do. It doesn't matter who or what side you're on. I mean, you should never go out your way to hurt someone.
No, you shouldn't. It's not right at all. When you start resorting to violence in order to get your message across, you've lost your point. You lost what you're trying to do, because all people focus on at that point is the violence and not your message.
Exactly, and it's. I think the scariest part is at which college campus is it going to happen again, and when are they going to resort to violence again? And you know that they will, because they're essentially a one-trick pony. They do it over and over and over again, and they will keep doing it, thinking that they're making a difference.
Yeah. And they're not. All they're doing is they're causing problems everywhere they go. And as Ronin has stated time and time again, they're going to do this the wrong place at the wrong time. There are going to be people that are practicing their right to carry, and people are going to get shot out of self-defense.
Yep. And then, of course, as soon as that happens, they'll then turn around and go, well, that's why we need to ban guns. And it's like, no, seriously.
I've been around long enough, and I was old enough back in the mid-'70s to remember some of the riots and looting back then, and the National Guard responding and actually having armed confrontation with looters and rioters.
Yeah, but it's just a shame. I mean, I think the saddest thing is, I think the thing with me is that I've turned around and, like, I've said to my wife, I said, we've got 2 kids, and I turn around to my wife. I mean, they're very young, but I've turned around to her and said, I am so worried about the future for these kids, how the world is going to be when they're not allowed to say certain things or think certain things. It's going to be like 1984, and that's scary.
It is. And my parents came from Cuba, so they know what it's like to have their voices suppressed. And, you know, it's one of the reasons, you know, it's one of the reasons they're scared too. They see all this shit happening, and they're like, we don't want this to become, you know, what we left Cuba for.
Yeah, but I mean, as saying with it, they are dwindling away, and I think they're going to go to these drastic measures now. So, you know, who knows? Maybe in a couple of years' time, maybe it'll just all breeze over and it'll be okay. But I mean, they are going to drastic measures where they are going to have to riot and smash things up and hurt people.
Yeah, and they just seem to be escalating it.
Yeah, and it's just over stupid things. And I mean, I think I get frustrated because I'm from England, I'm from the UK, and I'm watching it, you know, from afar, and it's kind of like, this is ridiculous. Why are they doing this?
I know, it's just it's stupid. There's the link. Yay! Maybe it'll work now. As you can see, I'm still trying to learn how to do this. All right, here we go. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm watching these riots and I'm watching all this stuff, and it's like, I did a video on it, and they're following with their message. They're literally following the path of Malcolm X, and what they don't realize is that Malcolm X got shot by his own movement. He got shot by the Muslim Brotherhood. You know, and it got to the point where MLK was like, no, I see where you're going with this, Malcolm. I can't follow you down that route because this is not the way to go.
Exactly. But they're going to keep pushing it and keep pushing and keep pushing the boat. And then eventually it's all going to fall in on themselves. And I think the scariest part about all of this, though, is the fact that you see all this violence and you see all... They're going to keep pushing these riots, things like that. And I think the scariest part is that the news outlets and celebrities are endorsing it. And that's where it gets scary for me. It's the fact that, you know, the media and everything suddenly like, yeah, this is perfectly okay to just protesting. And it's like, well, no, it's not. But you're pushing it like it is.
Yeah, I mean, and it's scary because these places, and I was watching Twitter yesterday, and somebody that lived in New York, somebody was literally, he said, keeping up with the stuff that happened in NYU with McGinnis, and the police were on it. The police were on task. They were there. They started dispersing people. They started arresting people. And I think the problem with California around Berkeley is they're so scared of BLM that they were afraid to actually do their job for fear of BLM coming around and saying, you know, we can't do this because we're going to get in trouble even though we're trying to, you know, enforce the law.
Hey, Mama.
Yeah, hey, Mama.
Hey, sorry, I'm on my crappy headset, so. Well, yeah, you're right, because remember, Prince was saying that BLM started in that area, and police brutality is a thing that they've been really, really against, even if it doesn't really happen. They still make a big deal like it did happen. Yeah. So they're really, really skittish about acting. And that particular area, he said, is where all that stuff started, and that rebellion and Antifa rioting and all that shit and fighting the man in the system and all that bullshit, it really started there, and that's like the hive of it. Makes sense because it is an industry. If you look at the places where these people end up working, they either work for the university or they work for an NGO. And they are social activists, outside of being violent protesters. But if they're in your area and you're planning to be there, you need to learn a technique called a one-strike knockout. Because if somebody's going to get violent with you and scare the shit out of you and potentially hurt or kill you, you need to learn how to defend yourself. Yeah, you do. Because I think that there's too many people that go, you got to realize Antifa are well trained. There's a reason that they walk around with sticks. Video of the guy who was beaten unconscious, you have two people from Antifa with sticks that get on either side of him and stop other people from hitting him, because they know if they kill somebody, it's over. This organization, cops are going to crack down, National Guard's going to come in, and the whole game changes. They already know that. So that's why they were defending him when it seemed kind of weird. It's not out of his interest to protect him. It's out of them protecting themselves, because that's a serious charge of killing somebody in a riot.
Yeah. And it's just, they're organized, so we've got to, and I think, because he and Ronin and I were discussing this morning, I think the main reason that Rage all of his videos just disappeared. And I don't know whether it's because he got a copyright strike. I don't know whether because he took it down voluntarily. But yesterday, he posted a video on what we can do as citizens to protect ourselves. In other words, walk around in groups of 4 to 7. If anybody in your group, if you're planning on attending these events or just being out in public where you know they're going to be, if anybody that you know has a license to carry, have them with you in your group.
You should be carrying and be prepared. Like in some states, you can get deterrent ammunition. You can buy rubber bullets for your personal use. Some states you can't because they're considered like anti-riot stuff.
By the way, it was freaking weird. I restarted Google Chrome and then it was fine. I don't know what that was.
It's Google.
Yeah, welcome to
It's fine today.
How you doing there,
reason. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, because his whole video was about how we can combat it without stooping to their level. And it was, if you have a license to carry, carry.
I don't know how it is that every time someone else speaks on how she is, but I just kind of expect you to be like, oh, exhausted.
Yeah. Well, it's not a bad thing to let the crowd know that you may or may not be armed, because they won't act on you. Again, no, they don't want to get shot any more than they want to accidentally kill somebody. So they also know that if they're attacking you and you fire in self-defense, that they are the primary aggressor, and there's almost always going to be footage of that. So they'll stay away from you.
Yeah.
there are a small number of people who don't care, and they'll just do it anyway. You know.
And they'll get shot.
Most people will
And
want
it'll still be their fault.
Yeah.
They know that what they are
Cockroaches,
doing is
you know?
fundamentally wrong and anti-constitutional, and they know that they're not even supposed to be there, because they don't apply for permits and stuff like that. And the reason that you apply for permits is so that if something happens, the cops know who had basically primary right to be there and to assemble. But Antifa doesn't do that. They show up to marches and start shit, and they are very well prepared and well trained to do it, because that's what they do with their lives. They think that they're like making a difference.
Well, the cops sat back and let them, like the last one, the cops pretty much just sat back and let them kill somebody. Like what the fuck?
Well, they were severely outnumbered. Even if
I
you
know
kept
that.
it just to the agitators, they wouldn't have been able to do anything. And like we were talking about before, they would have been scared shitless to do anything anyway.
Well, they can't
Because you might have
the
handled the
governor,
problem. Well, that was the mayor, but you might have handled the problem for the immediate moment, but your backlash from that would have been ridiculous.
No, I just meant unless the governor or Trump call in National Guard, you know, like there's nothing they can really.
In some of the news reports we were reading, it was that Berkeley campus called on the security police from other Berkeley campuses to come.
Yeah, of course.
Provide security for the, for Milo coming. And I'm like, okay, that's good and all, but why didn't you contact the police knowing that he was a controversial speaker? Why didn't you contact your police department and say, look, we're going to need backup here. We're going to need help. We're anticipating all hell breaking loose, and we need some extra help.
They did arrest 400 people or something, so, I mean.
Well, as soon as you see these guys show up, the local PD needs to be calling in reinforcement, because it doesn't take, when you're in a mob mentality and everybody's mad or excitable, it doesn't take a lot of agitators to get even people outside of their group agitated and riled up and ready to go.
But that's why I'm saying what they need is the National Guard, right, to help them, because they don't have enough cops to handle it.
But you can't just call in the National Guard whenever you feel like it.
No, I think you have to declare a national emergency or something like that.
The governor would have to do it.
You have to declare, the governor has to declare an emergency and call in the National Guard.
Well, when it's to the
very
point
unlikely to happen in California, because people who are detained, Berkeley, I don't think it's a sanctuary city. Is Cisco that was? But if you're detained by local law enforcement and found to be an illegal alien, then you're detained and handed over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Yeah, no, that's what they're supposed to do. That's the problem, is they weren't doing that, but now they are. But like, when you have that number of people marching down the street and they're smashing the windows and ATMs at the banks and everything else, and someone dies, I would say that it's time for the governor to step in and do something. But of course, he's not gonna. But I think New York
last I heard, we didn't know if the guy died. I thought he was in.
No, he died. It's been officially confirmed. I saw a story on it that they said, that the numbers are in that he died. When they went to NYU, right? Gavin McGinnis was going to speak at NYU. The cops there were pretty smart. They had barricades up first off, but they were right in front of those windows, so there's no way anybody could smash them or anything. And they started arresting people, and they were doing, like, New York cops don't give a shit. They'll beat the shit out of you. I mean, but if you look at, like, let's look at past history in California, okay? Let's look at, like, the LA riots, right?
Yeah.
With Rodney King back in the day. Like, that's what this is going to turn into.
Yeah. I mean, it's also, too, Berkeley has always held, up until recently, peaceful protests. The Vietnam era with the draft card burning at Berkeley and all that stuff like that was peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
There's ways to do this peacefully without beating on people that are supporting the person that you don't agree with.
Well, look at the U.S. consulate thing.
Antifa is an intimidation. It's an intimidation movement. That's the thing. Like when I have to find this book. It was something like Inside Block or something like that, and it was just like a kind of a survey audit of their tactics, how they adapt, how they blend into crowds, how they're trained to interact with crowds, rile crowds up, control crowds, that kind of thing. It's really a preliminary understanding of mob mentality and how to use it to your benefit.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they understand that they are there to intimidate and strike fear. That's their whole purpose.
Yeah, and they're literally
And
becoming the thing they're trying to fight against, which is irony in and of itself.
Well, right now
it's kind of. Sorry.
Right now they're protesting the Muslim ban again. They're doing it at the U.S. consulate in Toronto. They have one right now in Washington, Tallahassee, Poughkeepsie, New York. Let's see where else. Boulder, Colorado.
Here's the thing. You have to organize those people, and a lot of them are paid. So if people were really against it and it was really something that upset a lot of people, you wouldn't have to pay protesters to protest it.
Yeah, but you know what they're chanting right now in DC right now? They're actually chanting, what do we do when immigrants are under attack? Like it was like
stand up, fight back. Yeah, it's old. It's been around since the 60s, dude.
Yeah, that's what they're doing now. So, it might turn violent today, who knows, but
you know what, they need to start fire hosing them.
Well, I'm surprised that the
if they don't want to shoot them, fire hoses, whatever. Okay.
Well, I don't know why. They called off the California cops because they were going to get hurt because they're outnumbered. But why didn't they bring in all the heavy? Yeah. Don't they have heavy equipment in California? Don't they have
They do have
LRAD, LRAD and stuff. Why aren't they using it?
Well, because you need someone. The police cannot call that in. They have to basically radio up in the hierarchy. Like the mayor of Berkeley could have called in.
Yeah, I guess.
But he pretty much laid out his opinion on it before it started, and was basically like, "Fuck Milo."
Yeah, I know.
So it was kind of. He wasn't going to be in support of that. He was not going to call it the riot cops until something horrible happened.
I got to interrupt for a second. Someone's holding a sign and it says, "Pray for Bowling Green Massacre and Arnold. Everything else is fine."
That's awesome.
So I've got a quick question as well.
Showing up places with free Kekistan flags and signs and shit, and we'll be like the new legalized pot sign since it's basically legal everywhere.
Yeah.
So I've got a quick question. I saw on Twitter, I think it was yesterday, there was a petition going around saying that Antifa needs to be declared as an official terrorist group. Do you think they should be?
Yes.
They are a terrorist group.
They're acting for political means violently. So yeah, it's terrorism.
Yeah.
I mean, they're an organized group. It's not a single person doing this, right? It's
no. Exactly.
Well, see, if you declare them a terrorist group, that means that you don't have to go through the normal chain of command in order to call in reinforcement, and that they have the power to act immediately. They don't have to sit there and wait for somebody to call somebody to call somebody.
Yeah.
You can rally the troops immediately.
And when you talk about doing stuff like this, the left is always going to bring up the KKK, and they forget that the Ku Klux Klan is on a watch list. They've been on a watch list for years.
Yeah, but the KKK members,
aren't doing half the crap they used to do is because they're on the watch list. BLM
needs to be on the
watch list. Antifa needs to be on the watch list.
Well, KKK members aren't fucking black men like Milo is, and they're still saying that Milo's a fascist when all he does is sleep with black men. So I don't understand.
Yeah.
I
don't get it either. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they say he's alt-right, and they say he's a fascist. They say he's a white nationalist, and he's none of that shit.
No.
I've been called all of those too. Just saying. So it doesn't really seem to matter how you don't at all, even a little bit, fit into their, boxes or whatever. They'll just declare you that. I've been called a white nationalist.
Right.
I tell you what I think's amazing is the fact. Yeah, I think it's amazing how watered down the word Nazi is now. They've literally used it that much. It's so watered down. You can just call anyone it now. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I flip it.
Because of those words, so many words have just gotten watered down and lost their meaning. I mean, racist.
Well, yeah, what you're saying when you call literally everybody who disagrees with you a Nazi, you're saying the Nazis didn't do anything really that bad. If just disagreeing with you makes somebody a Nazi, then you're also saying that people who burned other people alive, did horrible experiments on them, really weren't that bad. When you reduce violence to a differing of opinion, then you're saying that violence really isn't that bad. And that's their justification. Now, if that's their justification, they can't really be surprised when violence is exacted against them in retaliation. But of course they are. That's probably the funniest thing about Antifa is as soon as the tables get turned, they're like, police, police, help. Yeah. It's funny as shit, but
we saw a video the other day of 2 guys in suits with a sign just standing there peacefully. 3 guys ran up to them, started beating on them. When the cops showed up, they're like, we're gone, we're gone, we're gone. The cops stopped their car and pulled them out of the car, and I'm like, no, the hell you're not. You ain't gone. You arrested now.
Oh, just so you know, don't try to shoot out tires. Shoot the radiator.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Hey, you want to do?
Hey, Dave.
I'm just letting you know. My father-in-law was a police officer in Denver, Colorado, or one of the cities in Colorado, can't remember. And he's like, no, when you're in a situation like that where you have people trying to escape after committing a crime, don't try to shoot out tires because you're probably not going to hit that. That's a really, very small target and may not even stop them. But if you blow out that radiator, they ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. So he's like, yeah, just take out the radiator.
So with it as well, what do you think of Trump's tweet where he was talking about not funding Berkeley anymore because of this?
Well, they shouldn't. The fact that in the news it came out that one of the rioters was actually a faculty member.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, somebody on Twitter was skip tracing that dude.
That was funny.
That was funny.
It's just so nice to see when you see the media. It's like, we don't even know if they're actual members of Berkeley, and then suddenly it comes out, well, actually one of them worked there. It's kind of like, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Oh, I would put it that he's probably one of the higher level organizers as well, because what they do is they use these college kids as free labor. They don't get paid for this shit. They go out there and bust up windows and risk their lives. They are not the ones getting paid for it. The organizer paid for it. They whip them at,
We don't know if they're being paid for it. They might be. You never know.
They might get.
You are roboting bad, mama.
So are you.
Stipend, but
everybody knows my problem.
Like activism and driving through a Indian reservation. Sorry.
That's cultural appropriation.
The Odom are not fans of the interwebs, unless you're willing to pay quite a bit to sully their sacred land with your towers.
I mean, these little entitled brats have been brainwashed by the regressive left to the point where all the older people that should know better go, well, this is happening, this is bad because of this, this, and this, and we need to riot. Okay, what do you want us to break?
Yeah. And that's scary. That is bad that they are getting brainwashed. I mean, on my personal channel yesterday or the day before, I was at work and there was a Muslim ban protest there, anti-Trump and everything like that. And I actually started filming it, which a lot of my friends said I was brave for actually standing in between all of them, filming it and, filming the bullshit. And there was a mum and a dad with a little girl. And the mum and the dad got the little girl to hold a sign that says Trump is a threat to the world. And they took pictures. And that broke me because I said, as a parent of 2 kids, that absolutely broke me. It's like, how can you do that to your child?
She doesn't look at Westboro Baptist, same type of shit that they do there too.
Yeah.
That cult mentality of the Westboro Baptist Church.
Remember the feminist march? You had a 3-year-old with a sign that said the
Wow.
You know, them, or they take an interest, just whatever. But sorry, am I going out really bad?
For a second there.
Yeah, for a second there. You're back, though. It's like somebody.
Sorry, I'm on the reservation.
Somebody pointed this out about the Westboro Baptist Church. Yes, they're idiots. Yes, they're backwards thinking. Yes, they're fundamentalists to the point where you want to strangle them, but they've never done anything violent. They stand there with their signs, they yell at people, they protest the wrong things, but they've never broken shit, they've never hurt people, they've never set shit on fire.
Here's the thing about saying that they're idiots, though. They're going by what the Bible says. That they're actually the closest to like what real Christianity actually says in the Bible. They ignore everything else, of course, but when it comes to the gay stuff, they're actually doing what the Bible
I can get into this, but
I know.
Yeah, they're fundamentalists to a fault.
I know. But the thing with them, right, is it's just like it's basically one family. I mean,
they are very bad Christians, and if they mental.
Oh, I know they are, but I'm saying they're also like one family, right? The Antifa thing is a bigger movement. That's the problem. Is it's like, you know, it's mass brainwashing.
Antifa's more dangerous because when you have a country with a certain amount of the population afraid of what's going to happen, and you prey on that fear, and you preach on that fear, and you tell them what to do and how to act upon that fear, they will act upon it.
Yep.
Dangerous.
Yeah, when you're like, oh, you know, like, yeah, all Muslims are scared for their lives now, and this ban means that, you know, Trump hates white people, and hates brown people, and that's why he's doing it. And it's like, when you literally have someone from Black Lives Matter standing up there and saying, we need to kill all white people, we need to start killing the White House, and white people are standing there cheering while she's talking about killing them, you know you got a problem.
It's not even it's not even a bloody ban. That's the thing. It's not even a fucking ban. It's oh my god.
It is for Yemen. It is for Yemen because the Yemen one, they said that they're never going to be let in. So, I mean,
it just fucks me off so much, and I think it's just like when I went to the actual protest myself, and I stood in there, and you saw kids, you saw these young teenagers, uni students, college students, and one of them was older. It was like feminism against fascism, and she's like 18 at college, and it's like, what the fuck are you on about? You live in England. You are not oppressed. Shut up.
Like, liberal professors. That's where the problem comes in.
Yeah.
And this is what makes it worse than Hitler's youth back in World War II. These people are doing this voluntarily.
Yeah. And
well, Hitler youth were too because they thought that because they were told a lie and they bought it, right? Just like now, that's what's happening. They're being told this lie, and it's like
some of the parents also took their children to those programs to be indoctrinated as well. So not all the children went there voluntarily, but these kids are doing it voluntarily because they've been fed lies from the media to the point where they believe them.
Well, mommy and daddy has never told them no in their entire life, so now when people are telling them no, they don't understand. They're like, "What? I'm not getting my way today? What?"
Well, the problem is when they get told no, they turn violent.
Well, exactly. Temper tantrum like a little child, you know?
Yeah, they're going to break their own shit to prove a point, which doesn't make any sense, but okay.
I remember when, of course, in the UK we had Brexit, and we was doing the, of course, it was around the time when they was going to vote Remain or Leave. And my old college, they did like a mock vote because, of course, they're too young to vote, but they did one in the actual college. And, of course, my college basically essentially told them that they had to vote Remain, you know, taught them that was the best option. And then what they did was, of course, they got all their results and things like that. And then they put a sign up in the college, and I saw a picture of it from my old teacher who I had on Facebook. And it basically says, it essentially said 90% of the college voted Remain on Brexit. And then in big capital letters, it said, well done. And it's like, wow. Okay, so no one's allowed an opinion in college now.
No, it's like you see it on Twitter whenever somebody gets banned. We laugh about it. the more you stay in these echo chambers, the more you only listen to your own ideas, the less you're going to get educated on what's really going on out there because you're not doing your own research.
Well, yeah, you don't want to hear it, so you just don't hear it.
Yeah, and these people aren't even taking, like, no one's even taking humanities courses anymore. They're just social justice education. And it's
well,
like,
that's why they make it mandatory, because nobody actually wants to take these classes.
No.
So they make you take a women's study or you know, some kind of like class on, you know, racial disparity or whatever. They force you to do it because, one, nobody would take these classes if they didn't have to.
Well, you know
And
what's funny
these
is
tenured professors that you can't get rid of now.
well, you know what's funny? I don't know about all of Canada. I know in Ontario, okay, they started this thing, this new. Last time I was taking some night school classes to try and, you know, get some credits ahead of time of going to college, right? And they had this program that they force everybody to take now. It's called Ethics and Active Citizenship. Okay, they claim it's about getting, you know, encouraging racial unity and all this stuff, right? But all that class literally was how to write essays and do presentations and shit. It was all like English basically, and it's like, what does this have to do with citizenship? Nothing. Like, why? I don't.
It's about effective activism. That's kind of the thing, is a lot of these classes are posed as like public speaking classes.
Yes. Exactly.
Or something like that you're like required to take, because the same thing, they did the same thing here. I had to retake English 101 from the first time I did it when I was 16, right? So 10 years later, I have to retake this fucking class because the you know, the accreditation whatever shit changed. So I'm like, fuck, all right, I'll take it. And it went from basically, you know, making sure you have proper citations and footnotes, and, you know, sentence structure, paragraph structure, all that shit that you would normally do when, you know, in English. And now you had to apply that and write about social justice topics like
exactly. That's what I
slavery
mean. It's the same shit. Like, they had
and shit like that.
Yeah, they had one group project, okay, where you had to work with a group of people and choose a topic and do a presentation and all that crap, like you would in high school, right? And that was the program. And what we chose to do was interesting because we actually went down to, at the time, the Native Reserve was protesting. I don't know if you heard about that, but there was a construction crew and they started doing work on the land, and they got pissed and said, "That's our land, you can't touch it," right? So we went down there and actually interviewed and covered it and looked at it because the media was portraying this thing where, like, oh, these Native people are dangerous and everyone's scared to death of them and all this stuff, right?
And then there was this video that
well, I'm scared of these Native people.
Hello, Batman.
Hey, Batman.
Hello.
We have the vigilante in our chat.
That's right.
I watched this video
that
on
guy.
Dumb American because she goes to a college here in Georgia, and she said that, I think it was, I forgot the name of the class she was taking, but it took a turn for the worse, and this person is now, the professor's now teaching them social justice and white privilege and all this stuff, and she said that she doesn't know how much longer she's going to be able to sit in the class because it's just become total bullshit at this point.
Actually, what she can do is, if it's outside of the accredited syllabus, she can file a complaint against the professor. I had my old nanny. She went to college, and her biology professor was trying to say that biology is inherently sexist and was like preaching the good word to the class. And this is not helpful to you on your exams at all. So she filed a complaint, and she got her suspended because she's not there to preach about social justice. She's there to teach a fucking class, and she needs to teach the class. And that's the biggest thing, is they teach this stuff in class, and that way they can recruit you for you know, protesting, and that swells their numbers because you're young, you're dumb, you think they know more than you do, and they're like so edgy or whatever. So they whip you up in this. They get these kids excited about something, and they paint it like they're doing a really good thing, and they don't. I mean, it really is like Hitler Youth. They have no idea that what they're doing is a horrible thing that's oppressive to other people.
They don't care
because they think that what they're doing, it will be, you know, the best thing ever. And it's like my great uncle was in there, and that's how this shit when it started popping up 70s, like the Berkeley riots and shit back then. He's like, it's just like the fucking Hitler Youth. They say the same shit. They repeat the same mantras. They're fucking weird.
Oh yeah, and it's also true that they're very much like toddlers in adult bodies, spoiled little toddlers.
And then you have, Sarsour trying to lead the women's march, and I'm like, that's the last person on God's green earth you'd want leading a women's march.
Yeah, but she only said that she was a prisoner. Like they would automatically, the people there would automatically assume, oh, she was in jail for something that wasn't right because she's a black person, and she's a victim and all this.
They are.
There was that woman that was actually crazier than Madonna. Yeah, the one going on about a bleeding vagina.
Yeah, that wasn't her own speech though. She that's what's her name. What's her face? Judd, Ashley Judd. That wasn't her speech. That was written by another girl, and she was just reading it. So yeah.
It was a stupid speech.
The funny part about the Madonna speech is when she said that part about blowing up the White House. The black lady that was taking pictures of the event stopped, looked right at Madonna and went, "What? Like, what did you just say?"
Did you see at the award show with the cast of Stranger Things and friggin'
we're not riding with fucking Jesus Christ.
I've ever seen.
But she was agreeing with what he was saying. That's why I don't understand why she's making those faces.
No, if you look at the longer video, she was completely confused, completely taken aback, and completely surprised by what he was saying.
I thought she was trolling him.
Over to try and see what was on the paper, and then you saw.
But she put her fist in the air afterwards and was all like, "Yes."
I think she was trolling him actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you saw Jeff Bridges behind her with that, "Go ahead, hurry up and take the picture" smile, because he was like, "Yeah, I'm not in with this shit. Hurry up, get off the stage."
Yeah, she looked very out of it. Like I honestly thought she, as I was saying, Magnificent said in the chat, I thought she was on drugs.
Oh yeah, probably. She probably is.
Rises. Talking about being on, I thought Madonna was at least on a bloody Valium or two during that speech.
Like Winona Ryder, she was known for the crazy stuff where she's a kleptomaniac. First off, like she goes in and just steals stuff because she can't control it.
She says.
But it's like, that whole thing, I want to take that clip and I want to make a video of it because I know we're trying to get a better mic, Adrian, sorry. And it was like, first it was, what the fuck? Then she looked at it as if to say, "Are you really doing this right now?" And then she kind of leaned over like, "What's on that paper again?" If you really look, those are her reactions like, I thought we were accepting an award.
My favorite video at the moment is that one, that school kid who basically destroys his feminist teacher.
Oh, is it got like curly hair?
Yeah.
That is amazing.
It's brilliant.
Oh, it's fucking amazing. Like literally, it's him and like two of his friends, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
they don't just take out the teacher; they take out the entire bloody class.
Oh, it's just so brilliant how to do it. Like literally, the class and the teacher are completely against these like three kids, and these three kids just coming up with fact after fact after fact, shutting it down.
And the best thing is they never resort to name calling or disrespect. The teacher does. The teacher proves how shit a teacher he is.
Yep. And then you see the teacher at the end, there's some dead horrible like purple or pink jeans just walk past it like, okay.
Yeah.
God. Well, something interesting
about the New York thing.
Oh, he will not divide us. That one.
Oh yeah, that's still going on.
Yeah, everybody's trolling that. By the way, that is funny.
Well, you are right. He will not divide you. He's uniting most of you against the social justice warriors.
Yeah, that's true. He really has united the entire country against bullshit.
Well, something interesting happened to me.
I've got a light northeast English accent, actually.
Yeah, something interesting happened to me today. I made an actual video on it. Well, it was more of a rant and saying with it, but my daughter uses the YouTube Kids app. She uses it to watch all her children's shows. And I had a look at it today and I thought, what is it that you can actually search on the app? and you can actually get the queer kid stuff videos on there.
Of course.
So now my 3-year-old daughter, if she accidentally finds the videos, she can now learn that there's more than 2 genders and what gay and lesbians are. And it's kind of like, wow. It's like, wow, my 3-year-old.
Oh, you mean creepy kid stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one I wouldn't mind dropping from a high-rise apartment block.
It's the fact
Is there
that
any way you can block?
I think you can. I think you can put like blocks on certain words, but the thing is with that app, you could watch a video. So, like for example, my daughter loves like Teletubbies, just for an example, and then it comes with a bunch of related videos. But the related videos are so strange and out there that it's that worry. Even if you block it, it will still probably circle around. Like for example, like she loves she loves Teletubbies. She also loves this TV show called Peppa Pig. On the related videos, it's actual videos of people, adults, using the merchandise, making their own episodes for kids.
Yeah,
And
isn't that sad? Adults are
good
like
or terrifying, depending on the
it
adult.
just shows the infantilization of adults in our society today. It's really sad. Actually.
Yeah, I noticed it in my own generation, myself included. I mean, I'm 53, but 53 for my generation is absolutely nothing like it was for my father's generation.
Yeah, that's true. You would have been like half worked to death.
And permanently short-tempered because of that.
Yeah.
It's like I look at all this from the perspective of somebody whose parents grew up in a very oppressive regime, and I'm just seeing all this stuff unfold. And I remember a few years ago, I think it was a couple of years ago actually, when everybody was petitioning against the Virginia battle flag and how all the Confederate monuments should be taken down. And I said, if you erase history, you're going to be doomed to repeat it. And if you start rewriting it, you're going to be no better than the communists. And everybody was like, well, you're overreacting. I'm like, no, I'm not. This has happened before.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's like something there we got told, I think it was in one of our first history lessons when we went to senior school. Yeah, history is about remembering the past. It's not just remembering about the things you should be proud of, but also about the things you should be ashamed of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, my mom told me that when Castro took over, he had all the history books burned, and he approved his version of the history books to start the indoctrination of children. She also told me that she graduated at the top of her class, and Fidel was there interviewing all the children, and her mother told her, because she knew that my mom didn't have a filter, don't say anything. Don't say a word. So when Fidel went to ask her something, at the bright age of 11, she looked at Castro and said, I can't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say a word. Like, don't.
There's something I've noticed when you look through history. You look at Hitler, Stalin. I think even the Khmer Rouge, Castro, even Saddam Hussein. They all seem to have an attraction, not a sexual one, but a definite attraction to children.
Well,
They were all very interested in children.
Yeah, because if you can mold the young mind, you control the future generation.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
that's Catholic school for asking the teacher to provide her proof that Mary was still a virgin after she birthed Jesus.
Yeah, I actually got asked to leave a Catholic church once when I was 11 for asking if Mary was the child of God, like all humans are, then wasn't God guilty of incest?
Yeah, that's a no-no question too, especially
Yep. I mean, I got that attitude because my father was an ex-Catholic. He died basically refusing Catholicism. His mother was divorced he was born in 1935. 5 years later, his mother divorced. So you can imagine the kind of life he had as a child.
I remember growing up in a Catholic family. My grandmothers, every summer when I would go down, they'd go, "Have you taken your first communion yet?" "No, I haven't." "Have you taken your first communion yet?" "No, I haven't." They even gave me a little catechism book to study. Well, I was 12. My grandmother, in front of my parents, asked me, "Have you taken your first communion yet?" And I went, "I'm Baptist," and went to the room she let me sleep in. And my mom had to sit through a 15-minute lecture on how she let me lose my mind and how did she let me become Baptist. And Mom came back, she goes, "Out of all the denominations you could have called out, why Baptist?" I said, "Because you don't need to study anything to be a Baptist."
There you go.
I'm an Orthodox Baptist.
Yes. It's very orthodox.
Oh, yeah. Talking about the likes of the SJWs and that. My friend's daughter is an 18-year-old SJW.
Homeland Security has just suspended the travel ban, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Well,
Still protesting against it, even though they get in their way. Jesus Christ.
They need to stop giving them their way. Is what they need to fucking do.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, but
I mean, you know,
no.
Clinton did it, Obama did it, nobody said anything. Trump does it. Oh, all of a sudden, let's vilify Trump. Let's work against everything he's trying to do to keep this country safe. Pull your heads out of your asses for a minute.
You know how powerful the media
Oh, you
is.
heard about the guy, the Yemeni guy who was like, yeah, my mom died from Trump's ban. He's such a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. And he was lying.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
what,
And people got so fucking pissed about it. It's like, you know, you might want to like think about shit before you get all, you know, butt hurt and start attacking
they're going on like
president.
it's a lifetime ban for these. It's not. It's a 90-day ban. Yeah,
It's 120 for different situations, but it's not.
basically a delay so that can vet you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the whole point of it. So they're freaking out literally over nothing, and they're not saying you have to go back to your home country. You can't come here. They, you know, they can go. They can be held where they are, and they will. Like if you're in the airport, you got your status reviewed very quickly because, well, fuck, you were already here, right? So, and the whole point is to review your status, make sure you're still legal, everything's like above board, whatever, and that's really it. I've been held at the airport for that. My daughter has dual citizenship. She gets held at the airport practically every fucking time this happens. It's boring as fuck. If you psych yourself out and you get worried, yeah, you're gonna freak out, but it's really not that big a deal. If you have legal status, all they really do is make sure that your paperwork is in order, and because we don't vet on this side. We don't do background checks. You have to bring that with you when you come here. So we don't know if you're a criminal element or not. We're counting on your home country to do that.
What friends of mine have said when they've gone holiday to Florida, they get stopped going into the United States, and they're questioned. They're asked they're asked about the luggage. They're asked why they're coming.
Yeah.
It's even for a holiday. It is not easy entering the United States.
Dude, it's easier getting in here than it is getting into Mexico. I'll tell you that.
That's a sensible approach.
Yeah, it is. It's what it should be. You shouldn't be able to go into a country easy. It should be hard. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, currently what that idiot said, it is not your human right to enter a foreign country.
Yeah,
no, and everybody's completely, all these people that are railing against this temporary travel ban from those 7 countries, do they not see what's going on in Germany?
In Europe.
Exactly. But they don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, go a little bit off topic, and I don't know if you guys may have seen it, but did anyone see the video of Theresa May in the House of Parliament go against Jeremy Corbyn, where they were having a debate? It happened like a couple of days ago. Well, Jeremy Corbyn's going on about, you know, it's all about, you know, the partnership with Trump and everything like that. And Jeremy Corbyn's like, you know, he's fascist, he's racist, he's sexist, he's this, and this. And then Theresa May turns around and is like, he is a good ally of ours. And then she stops for a minute and then she literally turns around to Jeremy Corbyn and turns around and says, Jeremy Corbyn can lead a protest. I'm leading a country. Oh, it was brilliant.
Mic drop. Damn.
You know what Jeremy Corbyn reminds me of?
Who's that?
Have you ever seen Whoops Apocalypse? The
Yeah.
TV show. Well, I highly suspect that Jeremy Corbyn's got a Superman outfit underneath his clothes. He reminds me of the British Prime Minister from Whoops Apocalypse.
The thing is, I don't even like Theresa May, but the fact that she did that, it was kind of like, oh, that was good.
And
that was very good.
She was on the Remain side during the referendum.
Yeah,
and now she's pushing hard for the Brexit, which is brilliant.
It's just like these people on the left act like people can't change their minds. You know, it's like politicians can change their minds if they're provided, you know, information that makes sense and they've been thinking about it and it's been on their mind previously. So her changing her mind about Brexit is no surprise. And it's like Riley Dennis sitting there doing that screwed up video where he's quote unquote interviewing Trump. And you know, yeah, that one.
You mean Frank and Bobby Horseface?
You know, 5 years ago you were against the energy coalition, and now it's like, look, people can change their minds, Riley. Just because you don't, because you're a stupid idiot that needs to get your head out of your ass. You know, it's come on now.
Did you really have to remind me of that video? I've only just done that video, and it's kind of like you've just had to remind me that I had to watch that.
I haven't seen that one yet. I usually keep abreast with Frank and Barbie Horseface.
Well, he basically just sits down and pretends he's interviewing Donald Trump, but of course he gets different clips from Trump, and then he's talking about his cabinet and things like that, and it's just so much bullshit. Like he's turning around, he's like, "Where are your tax returns? You have to show them." It's like, no, he doesn't. It's not in the law. He doesn't have to. And then he carries on, like, you have to do it.
I think even Milo Stewart's starting to grow up, isn't she? I think even Milo Stewart is starting to grow up.
Yeah.
But Riley never will.
Riley has his head so far up his ass he can give himself free colonoscopies.
Yeah, that's what that is on its head, isn't it? It's not facial. It's not scalp hair. It's bum hair.
Yeah.
In my video, I think in my video on that interview, I think at the start I turned around and said that Riley Dennis's brains is Adam's apple.
Yes, you did.
I have a question. I have a question for the people in the panel right here. Have you seen the report where the Antifa representatives allegedly threatened not only the reporter but the reporter's daughter?
No.
Hey, sorry, I gotta go.
Okay.
Hi. Okay, Mama.
I'll try to pop. Yeah, I'll try to pop in when I get back to the house.
Hi, world.
Sorry, that makes sense.
Bye.
Hi.
See you guys. Bye.
Yeah, and sadly, I've got to go too because my kids are getting ready to go to bed. Sadly, so yeah, I could only stay on for an hour, and I've just stayed over an hour. So, but now my daughter's going to be coming upstairs. Yeah, I can hear her coming upstairs now. So, I'm
All right, take care.
You take care of yourself.
Thank you very much for having me on, and also, I'm actually near 100 subscribers now, which is awesome. So
Brilliant.
I'm nearly there. Nearly there.
Can you drop your channel link in the chat before you go?
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
Put all in the description when I'm done. I'll edit everything and put all the links to whoever we've spoken to down there that has a YouTube channel.
That's cool.
That's fun. Yeah, I'll do it in a minute. Do you want to come and say hello? Well, gonna say hello. Are you going shy? Yeah, you're going shy. Yeah.
You guys are gonna love this one.
You got Peppa Pig. Right, again. Right, Daddy's going to come off now because you got to go to bed, ain't you?
But don't there.
Oh no, you've got to go to bed.
But don't
Oh, don't look, you're upset. You're going to have to go to bed.
Yeah, you've got to get
All right, guys, we're going to get going.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
I just picture him going up there to try and get her to be civil and be like, Dante Pig, and just making the sound effect. Oh, God, I hated that show.
Like I said, a friend of mine, her 18-year-old daughter is an outspoken feminist social justice warrior. And about a week ago, they had an argument in the local Morrison's. That's a supermarket. And you know what my friend did? She grabbed her daughter, bent her over her lap, and spanked her in public. It was absolutely brilliant to see. She actually got applauded.
That's check your DMs on Twitter.
Why? What did you send me now?
No, glitch.
Linda Sarsour is suing.
Is she? Why?
The Muslim ban, of course.
Oh,
yeah,
dear.
Yeah. Like, that's going to go over well, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, it's going to go over swimmingly. You know that.
Like, not only him being... not only him being president, though, but the fact that he's a billionaire and you're going to try and sue a billionaire, you're an idiot.
Yeah, even if he's in the wrong, he's going to win because he's got a lot more money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
especially since Trump's lawyer just has to bring up the fact that she murdered somebody.
Yep. Oh, you know how powerful the media is.
No, but that kind of takes away her credibility, or it should. The fact that she's fucking murdered somebody.
It
but
should.
No, it won't.
No. You know how powerful the media is. There's a friend of mine, Edinburgh, decent bloke, usually quite intelligent in his views, but he firmly believes that Donald Trump is a racist, misogynist, fascist, and all of this, just because of what the media is pumping out.
Yeah, I know.
Frightening.
I know.
And I think I just burned my finger with me later.
People are just believing anything they're being told at this point without checking their facts.
What are those?
Right?
Yeah. They're the things that flat earthers ignore.
Oh.
Yep, most definitely.
So you're putting out the third part of this story of yours.
Yeah, every Tuesday I'm doing the all the parts of the story. The last part is going to be Tuesday. And what I'm going to do is, because I'm trying to write a sci-fi fiction novel series, I'm doing little bitty short stories of these groups of kids in this house that's basically for homeless people that try to sneak into the kitchen and get all the treats they're not supposed to be getting.
Ooh.
So kind of like little kids stories, how they try and skirt around the security in the house, and how the security is, he's playing along with it, trying to catch them. It's kind of entertaining how it winds up.
The Great Biscuit.
Yes, the Great Biscuit.
Is that your better half in the background?
Yeah, it's for kids, and if you can imagine it, their communication devices are Fisher-Price walkie-talkies attached to some sort of headband. They make grappling hooks out of wire hangers, and they come up with all kinds of things to try and see if they can steal the cookies without getting caught.
Well, let's face it, Fisher-Price walkie-talkies nowadays are a lot better than when we were kids.
Yeah,
no kidding, right?
Most definitely.
Well, when you were a kid, wasn't it just like a cup on a string?
Oh, come on, don't be so insulting. We hadn't invented string then.
You're like 20 years older than me, so I figure,
I can remember back in the days when one of the most exciting toys you could get was a slinky.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant toy. Could go downstairs by itself. Absolutely useless if you lived in a
You get one
bungalow.
of those paddleball sets that had the string attached to it, and then your parents would beat you with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Yep.
that was about it. You play it until it breaks, and then your parents like, hey,
Or the Brew football game, which you're only going to win if you play against your old Uncle Arthur, who's chain smoking and also has asthma.
Nice.
My grandparents, who were born prior to and grew up during the Great Depression, raised me. So believe me, if I got out of line, which I did often, I was a knothead. The worst thing you can hear is, "Go pick me something to whoop your ass with."
Yeah.
That was a long ass walk.
You know what the funny thing about when we were kids, like back in the 70s and that, compared to especially nowadays, there was just as many of the weirdos knocking about. Yeah, there was just as many child abusers and God knows what knocking around. But our parents weren't as frightened of them. Nowadays, you get parents that'll take their kids to school in the car, even if it's within easy walking distance, then bring them home by car.
Yeah.
But after they've done the homework, they can go out and play. I mean, what is it? The perverts have days off.
I was like, I homeschooled our son, and there were days when I was looking back and he was misbehaving more than he was studying, and I picked up his math workbook, which was soft cover, smacked him over the head with it, and he goes, well, you're not going to learn it the traditional way, you're going to learn it by osmosis. Pay attention to your classes and do your math work.
Yeah, it's actually illegal to homeschool kids in this country.
Here Obama tried to see if he could make it illegal, and he found out that there was a rather large community of people that would rail against it. So he thought better of it.
Yeah, I think that's something that always gets me about Obama is that comedy. During his first term, he turned on and says, "Every decision I make, I talk it over with my wife, and then I usually follow what she says." So basically, he wasn't president; his wife was, and she didn't get elected.
By the way, to the person in the chat that was trying to post a link in the chat, she has to make you a moderator in order for you to do that.
Yeah, that's Caligari. He's already left. I got his link down in the description.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And Laura Bones needs some cake. Can she bring some enough back for the rest of us?
I swear to God, somebody needs to invent a pass us through the computer app so none of us will go hungry.
Oh, you mean Woody Wonka's Taste Division?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
It's called buy one of my T-shirts so I don't go hungry. That's and it's not working. No one's buying them yet, but we'll see.
You'll get there.
We'll see if they're going to do that.
Yeah.
There are a few.
Yeah, well, if I was selling T-shirts, I'd buy them, and you know why?
That I keep passed over.
Because I'm Batman.
I know. Have you seen that guy, by the way, that does little... He used to be on Vine. I don't know if he's still doing it on YouTube or not, but he would, like, dress up like Batman, and, like, his kid would be in the background and he'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Bad dad.
Yeah, bad dad, yeah.
I like the ones, the How It Should Have Ended one, videos with Superman and Batman in the cafe.
Yeah.
There's some good ones of them. This is the sound you can hear is me making a cup of tea.
Some of these people are absolutely hilarious, and then some of these people you bump into on YouTube, you look at them and go, what am I watching?
Right, mind, there's one good thing about the feminists and the social justice warriors.
Right.
If it wasn't for them, the vast majority of YouTube would be full of funny cat videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a point. We got a lot of lolcows.
I mean, I still want to see a video of Trigglypuff's ice skating or something.
Ronin sits here and laughs at me whenever I trip across one of those and they use the word Latinx because literally my eye twitches and I cringe. Like,
well, there's this girl that, like, there's this other disabled girl that has stuff on YouTube, and it's always like every video has the title "Disabled Y Latinx" in it, right? As in, like, she's disabled and Latinx, and I'm like, ugh, why does every title have it? It's like the MGTOW people. They put MGTOW in every title, and it's like...
Yeah. Or I'm a non-binary, gender fluid, trans locomotive.
Yeah, but why do Latino people who happen to be calling themselves non-binary, why do they need a specific title?
If you're non-binary, surely that means you're analog.
Yeah, true story.
Because they want to be special and stand out, and they want to screw up the Spanish language.
And the English language, and generally every language you can think of.
Yeah.
But to me, what it boils down to, a lot of it, is people were told that they were special growing up until they hit high school and realized they weren't special anymore.
That's one of the big points of it. Yeah, I think there's another factor as well.
I'm telling you though, what's funny about this whole thing is that back in the day, it's like George Carlin warned us about this type of stuff happening, and we didn't listen. We didn't listen.
So did George Orwell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
Carlin would have so much material if he was still alive today.
How do you know he isn't?
Yeah. Exactly.
What happened with George Carlin is he actually caught the other guy, chopped his head off, and he had to go into he had to change his identity. But I think one of the contributing factors to social justice in that is, when my parents were kids, they had definite things to fight against.
Mm-hmm.
In the 60s, the people then who were parents, who became parents, had definite things to fight against. My generation had our parents to fight against.
Yeah.
The millennials didn't. Their parents were their friends. They didn't have anything to fight against.
Not mine.
They've had to invent shit.
Yeah.
I'm a millennial, and I'm not proud of it, but I'm a millennial.
The vast majority were given trophies just for participating, told they could go wrong, given everything they were ever wanted, and now you have this mess.
Yeah.
Well, I had participation trophies, but that's just because I was involved in disabled sports, so it's slightly different. But
when you say you're not proud of being a millennial, why should you be? Why should anybody be proud of what they are? It's what you do you should be proud of.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it's whenever
I'm proud that I'm a millennial that's not doing all that bullshit. That's what I'm.
You should be proud of that.
But you know where it comes from? Growing up poor. That's where it comes from. Okay, not being like them comes from growing up poor, not having that girl who was screaming and saying we need to start killing white people, right?
Yeah.
She's in college, and in my video, I'm like, how about you go and help out those kids in those communities that you're talking about who can't afford college, who don't have mom and daddy paying for their college?
Because she doesn't care about them.
Not the middle class black people, but the lower class black people who are living in like 8 Mile and shit, right?
Because she doesn't care about them. She probably looks down her nose at them.
Trump is helping them the most because one of the plants is going to reopen a plant in Detroit, apparently. So,
what you say is very true. I mean, you come to my part of the United Kingdom, the Middle East. Up until the 80s, it was heavy industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard work, mining, shipbuilding, steel work.
By the way,
even now we're not the wealthy part of the United Kingdom, and there's very few feminists or social justice warriors up here. The ones that are mostly come from the universities.
By the way, I'm uploading my Anita Sarkeesian video right now. I was talking about it with some people last night, and it was pretty.
Can you please pixelate her face out?
No, but I covered up the boobs from Far Cry because I don't want YouTube getting mad at me for it, even though she shows them.
Just as long as she doesn't show her own saggy bags.
No, I don't want to have to label it as adult only because I don't want to lose monetization on it. Because
she goes on about,
that's why.
Yeah, she goes on about all this shit, and I've got to say, some of my ancestors were pirates, and her wearing those looped earrings is cultural appropriation.
Yeah. No, sometimes those looped earrings that she wears have native feathers on them. So
now she's appropriating my culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe she's She's probably an 8th native or something. She'll probably defend it and be
like looking at the size of her, I think she's part pygmy.
Mm. But no, it's clear why she's gone back to doing another tropes video because Gamergate made her so much money that she wants to restart Gamergate up again. Like, it's been around since then, but like restart the big controversy about it, right? Because that's where she made her money, and she knows that.
The problem with her tropes is that she doesn't want to see the fact that there are biological and physical differences between men and women, and you have to show that in video games.
No, but
And
get that.
psychological as well.
Okay, you know in Far Cry 3, have you played Far Cry 3 at all?
No.
Okay, there's one scene. It's a tribal woman. Okay, she's this mystical goddess or what. She gives you a drink that has a hallucinogen in it, and then you hallucinate that you're fighting this giant monster. And then after you fight the after you fight the monster, you wake up, and the girl's on top of you, fucking you. Anita Sarkeesian said that that's a reward for fighting the monster.
What if you
it's
don't
like,
fancy the
no,
one?
she rapes you. And then another scene, it's like, you can choose to side with her or save your friends. And if you choose to side with her, you get a cutscene of you having sex with her and her stabbing you and saying, I'm already pregnant and my son, our kid's going to lead the tribe. But she kills you and your game ends. And it's like, if you make the choice that Anita doesn't like, you die. So, like...
She's just so twisted. What gets me is she's never played a game in her life. And as a female gamer, I have made fun of the freaking armor in video games for women for years.
By the way, though, there's
when I was a kid, I used to take the mickey out of Red Sonja's pretty chainmail bikini in the comics.
By the way, there's a new game that I'm gonna try streaming it. It's called 1979 Revolution Black Friday. Okay, it's basically an SJW's Dream kind of game. Because in this game, you're a photographer during the Iranian crisis, and you're at a protest, and you have to decide if you're gonna throw rocks and shit like that, and if you're gonna behave yourself or whatever, and like, yeah, the whole game. It's by a guy that used to work for Rockstar, the guys who did Grand Theft Auto. So,
and they're doing something like that.
But yeah, and I said this. I said I'm gonna stream it because it's relevant today. How is it relevant to? I'm like, really, with what's going on right now? The pictures from Berkeley look exactly like a scene from that game, so it's fucked up.
That's the thing. Back in the 70s, we never had any of this tension, racial or otherwise. It's not because we had all the problems, if there actually are any, solved. It's because we didn't care. That is part of the answer. Stop caring about gender. Stop caring about race. Just care about people.
By the way, people in chat are talking about the cis thing is they still consider a shortening of sissy. The funny thing about words is like the word pussy, right, is actually pusillanimous. It doesn't even mean like.
I think it originally comes from a Latin word meaning soft, or a French soft.
Yeah, pusillanimous.
Yeah.
And it's like, when they're calling someone a pussy, they're not calling him a woman.
Yeah, I'm not calling my cat. If I call my cat a pussy cat, I'm not calling it a bloody vagina cat, am I?
No. It's like Morgan Freeman said, you stop calling me a black man, I'll stop calling you a white man. Stop seeing color, stop seeing all these different freaking genders. Just be an individual.
Yeah.
But I noticed something.
Black History
by the way, I noticed something with the YouTube algorithm that like, I think certain words are being censored, like not getting ads put on them, and they're not necessarily telling me because I uploaded a crap video about Nickelback, like it's just random shit. And I started getting money again once I uploaded that because it doesn't have anything controversial in it. I've gotten twice warnings that say, oh, this isn't ad friendly. But I think there's videos that are marked as ad friendly and they're not telling you about them.
Having that problem with some of my morning shows, since we read the news and stuff like that, I have to go back and it's yellow and I have to tell them to review it because it's news. And they're saying it's not advertiser friendly. And I'm like, it's news.
Yeah.
We're reading the news articles, we're commenting on them, and we're moving on. That's all we're doing. It's like,
Laura,
get over yourself.
Laura Bunce has inadvertently raised a topic, the punching Nazis thing. I don't think it's right.
Everybody punches Nazis. No, I'm joking.
Even if somebody was walking down the front street of my town, right, dressed in a full SS uniform and goose stepping, so long as he was being careful not to hurt people. No, and he wasn't attacking anybody.
Well, that's what I mean. It's a different story when you go back to like Hitler or whatever. If you go back in time, would you punch him in the face? And it's like, well, he killed people. It's a different story.
Yeah, but only Captain America has the right to punch Hitler in the face.
The problem is when you start resorting to violence, you lower yourself to their level when you instigate it.
Violence is the last resort of the wise man and the first resort of the fool.
Yep. Most definitely.
I reached 300 subs last night, so I'm gonna do a celebration stream today. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Very well done.
Yeah, it's taken me like a year to get
there. Are they petrol powered or nuclear?
Oh.
I'm still
Yes,
working
I'm fond
on
of
mine.
puns.
We're gonna still do the morning shows Monday through Friday, so
I was on a stream last night, and what's his name? Tyler Preston came on. That was interesting.
yeah, he actually interviewed me on his channel. About what's going on in Cuba and stuff like that, and I relayed all the information my mom gave me. So I tried to mirror it, but since it was just him and me talking, it was just audio, and I couldn't do it.
I find Tyler Preston has got what I'd call an understated intelligence. I think he's quite intelligent, but he hides it.
Sometimes the way he delivers it doesn't appear that way, but yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, have you seen Bearing's latest video? He trolls Steve Shives something brilliant.
I watched part of that, but
we're about to see that in a minute or two. Yeah,
I didn't watch
this morning, but we had to do other things.
No, but I didn't watch the entire video, but I watched some of it, and I'm like,
Oh, God.
Well, guys, I believe, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for the very first ever Weekend Brew. I hope you will join us next Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when we live stream about what's going on again. Again, thank you for coming, and you guys take care of yourselves, and see you next time.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you for coming.